Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and with an incredible week of CDL action just around the corner. There's been a lot of discussion these last couple of days about exactly what OpTic Chicago need to do to get back to the form that they're going to need to get through these matches up against New York and FaZe, which are going to be very challenging this week in, well, honestly, some crazy situations that could happen down there in Group B. And some of the discussion has been around the off-meta weapons that were pulled out by the OpTic guys in their match against Los Angeles Thieves. The Milano especially maybe been a bit of a question mark as to whether that actually should still be used by Envoy going forwards. Intrigued to take your thoughts in the comment section. I'd like if you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new, as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, I wanted to mention a couple of challenges things. With Decemate, of course, joining the Seattle Surge we looked at yesterday. Looks like maybe Jintroid will be filling in on Fantastic Four for the time being right here. Also, the Challengers Cup this upcoming weekend is going to be cancelled for Mother's Day. Always confuses me because in the UK, Mother's Day is on a different day. It's way back in March, I'm pretty sure. So you guys in the States have your Mother's Day a little bit later, so they're cancelling it, which is pretty cool to see because I've seen a lot of, complaints, and understandably so, from some of the Challengers players, the fact that they're playing like every weekend. It's a pretty relentless schedule for some of those Challengers guys, so cool to see the league being responsive on some of these issues. And of course, we looked yesterday about Decimate joining the Seattle Surge. Certainly an interesting change. We discussed it in some detail, but I thought this was pretty interesting that Chrome points out right here. Loony did kind of an AMA type stream, and he talks about the fact that he's open to help coach Seattle Surge if they want to move in that direction. This is something I think that they would be, honestly, it's a no-brainer right if you're Seattle, because Joey Nubsy said in his tweet the fact that they're going to try and utilize Loony as the best fifth man in the league. I think he has a phenomenal mind for Call of Duty. Out of all the players that are kind of in his type of position, I think, yeah, he's probably one of the best players in terms of understanding the game at a very high level and being able to communicate that to other players. I think he'd be a phenomenal in, some sort of coaching role. Of course, they've got Joey Nubsy there as well, so maybe they can both move into that position. Someone's technically a head coach, someone's an assistant coach, I think is what Looney's talking about right here. But I think other teams have had great success having some sort of similar situation like that, where one guy's more of like a man-on-man manager and one guy's actually more, strategically inclined. I'm sure Loony would do a great job in that sense for this team, and it might help complement Joey Nubsy and what he brings to the team as well.
Yeah, like I've said this, I offered my team help if they want it. So I guess I would be, considered like an assistant coach or something like that, but I don't know if they're going to want me to do it or not. I just offered it.
So one of the best matches we had this past weekend was OpTic Chicago versus Los Angeles Thieves, the final match indeed of the weekend. And what I thought was great about this series is, well, a number of things, to be honest. It was great to watch, but also the fact that we had some non-meta weapons coming out to play from, especially some of the OpTic guys. There's been a lot of discussion, the fact that, okay, will Dashy pull out the FFAR, or are the teams now going to be copying that? And also Envoy using the Milano. Last year, Envoy was one of the first to pull out the Uzi early on, and effectively, well, the pros eventually realized that the Uzi was way too good, and they actually decided to GA it. So maybe some questions in the coming days about whether the FFAR will meet a similar fate. But I think a lot of people have been trying it out in league play and finding actually this thing is very difficult to use. And on certain maps, well, clearly Dashy can be very effective with it, as you can see right here on Express. So he uses it to great effect. And on one side of things, you've got a non-weapon meta type gun like the FFAR that comes out. Usually it's just Krigs and 74Us, and Dashy's dominating with it. He's showing that he definitely can use it to great effect. On the other side of things, you've got Envoy using the Milano. That doesn't really work out to the same degree. There was certainly some questions about whether that weapon should actually be used in play, and Envoy was actually using it here on the Express Search and Destroy to not particularly great effect, but they win the map anyway. Then he uses it on Raid, and there's been a fair bit of discussion for Envoy, the fact that, on Raid, you can beam people off head glitches because the Milano has obviously very low recoil and also a high headshot multiplier, so it should work out in theory, but clearly it hasn't necessarily worked out in practice. I thought this was kind of funny as well about, Brandon Dashy Hotel using the FFAR at the time. Someone on Twitter obviously wrote this on the trending thing, and well, he's acquired the FFAR and assault rifle in the video game as OpTic Chicago take on Los Angeles Thieves in Stage 3 of Week 2 of the Call of Duty League. So, of course, should be Week 2 of Stage 3. I thought it was funny how they phrase this kind of the stuff I might say at the start of a video when I'm stumbling over some words. And it says right here, how many people just made an FFAR class in League Players? Clay says 60 Hz, 8 Texas host FFAR. Looking at certainly dangerous. And Arcitys also convinced that it's actually so good. And Temp is saying, look, FFAR looking crazy on 60 Hz. Might have to give it a go and bring it out. So maybe other pros will go down this route. As Bryce Vicente says, OSA vibes. You guys might remember that weapon from back in Infinite Warfare. However, on the other side of things, you've got players using the Milano. This is, Envoy clearly using it right here, kind of when it was initially first buffed to great effect. However, pulling it out in CDL matches didn't necessarily have the desired result for the OpTic guys. Now, of course, was him using the Milano the only reason why they lost that series? I do not think that was the case by any means. I think a number of mistakes on certain maps right here. I mean, losing all 3 respawns to Los Angeles Thieves in this series is don't want to say exactly unacceptable, but I think Ben brought up this crazy stat on the flank a couple of days ago, maybe courtesy of aBeZy, where he said that against the top 7 teams in the game, or the other top 7 teams outside of OpTic Chicago, they are 3-11 in their last 14 respawns, and they lose another 3 here to Los Angeles Thieves, which is pretty remarkable. And I mean, clearly, I think Formula's been playing really pretty well as of late. Dashy's obviously been pretty solid. It's interesting to see that it is really their SMG line, which obviously they're putting up numbers still to a degree, but maybe that is where the issues have lied in their respawns, despite their search and destroy getting significantly better. Now, of course, Envoy pulling out the Milano isn't just the only reason why they lost the series, but you've got to maybe look at the bigger picture, right? Exactly how Envoy's playing on the map with these certain weapons. There's been a fair bit of talk about him. He goes on a lot of flanks, obviously. He tries to make really smart plays on the map, which I'm sure are very smart plays, but if his team isn't necessarily supporting him all the time, then he's often going to get traded out. And there was also some discussion on the flank a couple of days ago, the fact that is he getting too predictable, always going on these long routes and playing for those flanks, meaning that the teams just expect him to do that, and the team effectively is just playing 3v4 if they're trying to challenge the hill, and it's pretty easy, right? Okay, we're missing Envoy, turn around, lads, we'll find him behind us, right? That type of thing. So obviously there's clearly more to it, but it seems to me that maybe there's something going wrong with OpTic Chicago in their respawns, because 3-11, I mean, that stat is pretty remarkable to me, and you're expecting if you win a search and destroy in this series, you've got to at least go to game 5. That's kind of how OpTic have done it over their career, at the very least, if they're not already winning 3-0. So I'll share with you some of the discussion right here, mainly around the Milano saying, look, maybe the Milano isn't the play, get the 74U back out and start hitting hills from the front alongside Scump with your incredible gun skill that you have, and maybe that could be the solution for OpTic Chicago here in the respawns.
Yeah, and the Milano, I don't know about the Milano. I personally think it's
I seen Envoy's first life with it. Even Don called, he's changing class as we speak.
Yeah,
you can see it in the first round when he comes in.
I saw it.
Oh, and then he pulled it out on the raid control.
Yeah,
and he was feeling himself.
I mean, it's one of those guns. I think he likes it on raid because there's a lot of head glitches, or at least when I was talking to him.
It does look decent, but I just feel like the 4U is just better than it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. The 74U is just a really good gun, so.
So I think Envoy at one point was so unpredictable that maybe now he's predictable because they're expecting him to just do like the crazy type plays, right? Like the running up mid and the solo plays.
Well, hold on. Can I take that a step further, Zen? I think he's becoming predictable because people have realized since some point last year that in a lot of situations, he's the one always on the long route. And if you kill him, no one else is
I mean, to me, that play style, it's either hit or miss. It either works or it doesn't. That's just, it's going to work.
I think it just always comes down to, like you said before, if someone's taking a long route, it's on the team to, make it unpredictable, though. That's the thing. Like, if your team are just going to hide and wait for you to take a route, that's going to become predictable. But even just throwing a jiggle or something, making people just guess.
That's what I'm saying. That one round he hit up middle, someone should have shouldered a hallway or just pre-fired hallway, made him just
I honestly think Envoy's probably the smartest player in the game.
He's disgusting, bro.
That's my honest opinion. I genuinely think he's one of the smartest people to play COD, right? So when he takes routes and stuff, I always think he probably makes the right play 99% of the time. So if like Jin said, if someone just watches over him, the chance of him probably making a kill or something is probably going to be way higher. But him doing it himself, regardless of how good you are, you're probably not good. Yeah, you're going to get caught.
So, of course, when you do look at the statistics over the course of the series, you kind of see that maybe one of the non-meta weapons came to play very nicely. That being, of course, Dashy with the FFAR 77 in 64 right here. And, of course, Envoy has a lot of engagement on the map. But, didn't really seem like the Milano was working to great effect. So, certainly on the Express, it didn't seem anything spectacular. Got a couple of nice kills with it over on Raid. And, of course, as he said, Raid's probably a map where you want to use it, maybe with some head glitches that are difficult to beam someone off with a 74U. But at the same time now, people are realizing that the 74U actually, the speed grip, you don't really need to use it anymore because it doesn't really give you any speed benefits as it did. So most players now using the regular foregrip or the Spetsnaz grip or something along those lines, which actually means their recoil is somewhat better than it would be with the Spetsnaz speed grip. So actually, is it too hard to beam someone off a head glitch still with the 74U? Probably not. So how much impact does the Milano really have? It's just one of these weapons that I'm sure Envoy is trying out. And it is great to see, right, the fact that they were using 4 weapons on a map like Raid Control that honestly really great to watch. But is the Milano actually the best gun that you should be using? Because a lot of people are saying it's actually kind of a pea shooter, and still, even after the buff that it had in this latest update, isn't really that good compared to some of the other weapons, and it's not quite like the Uzi was last year when it was pulled out for a bit, and then, with quick expectations to be gentleman's agreemented out of the game. So maybe it'll work in certain circumstances, it could still work out, and as I say, I don't think if Envoy use the 74U, they necessarily win this series very comfortably indeed, but certainly some significant questions, I believe, for OpTic Chicago to answer about about exactly what happens to their respawn, because that's the thing with OpTic, right? I was saying at the start of the year, I think pretty much everyone was saying, if their Search and Destroy gets good, this team will be absolutely deadly. And here they are. Their Search and Destroy is looking really good. I think they're like 9-2 or something in their last 11 Search and Destroys, and yet they're still losing series against Los Angeles Thieves, and Thieves are certainly a great team, but, you know, they're not maybe the best team in the game. They're not a FaZe. They're not a Toronto Ultra as it stands right now, and that, of course, is a pretty scary thing when we look at the matches that they play this week. I thought this is cool as well from Round 11 stats, given the fact that OpTic, of course, played Los Angeles Thieves in their Checkmate Hardpoint game number 1, where actually, well, it was a Checkmate Hardpoint that went the way of Los Angeles Thieves in the end, breaking the undefeated streak that OpTic had on that map. Most of the undefeated streaks remaining right now are still in the hands of Atlanta FaZe, and we'll look at, well, the matches that OpTic Chicago we're going to play up against Atlanta FaZe here in just a second. So it's a crazy week we're going to have. As you can see, Group A is being absolutely dominated right now by Toronto Ultra. They sit at a 12-1 map record right here, 4-0 in terms of series count. They are guaranteed seed 1 for the major from Group A, which is absolutely remarkable for them to have achieved. On the other side of things, you've got Group B, the absolute bloodbath that is Los Angeles Thieves, Subliners, Chicago, and FaZe all at the top of this Group B. Now, this is absolute chaos. I think there's so many possible ways that this could end up. There's even a way that where there's like a 3-way 3-2 tie. If things happen where like FaZe lose to Surge but beat OpTic or something like that, then they can actually finish like all 3-2, and then it'll come down to some sort of like a, well, map count between the teams type situation. It could be absolute chaos in this group. So it's tough to go through exactly what needs to happen for each of these teams. Effectively, just come into the week and win all your matches. At least if you're Subliners, Chicago, and FaZe, if you just go 2-0, you're guaranteed to get out. If Thieves beat Subliners, I believe, on the Saturday, then they should be locked up number 1 seed, even though maybe they can get number 2 or something. It's going to be absolutely insane. But no one is locked winners bracket right now over in Group B, which is pretty remarkable to say. And OpTic Chicago do not have the easiest week, right? We talked about the fact that they had an ideal schedule. They got to effectively warm up with Ravens, then play Surge, then play Thieves. And of course, given Thieves got the better of them, Subliners looking better and better, certainly capable of beating teams pretty comfortably, and also taking them to Game 5 and beating them as they did to Atlanta FaZe. Chicago play Subliners on the Thursday. That is an absolutely enormous matchup, to be honest. And then, well, then we go to the Sunday where we have the absolute blockbuster match, FaZe versus OpTic Chicago. This has probably a Game 5 written all over it, in my opinion, but OpTic are certainly going to need to win one of these matches, and if they beat New York, they should find themselves in a good spot. But losing to Thieves does not make that the easiest thing to do, and especially because New York's hardpoint as of late has been looking really, really good indeed. Now, of course, Subliners Search and Destroy, bit questionable, right? You're thinking OpTic can easily, if they go to a Game 5, you know, take these Search and Destroys, but at the same time, you've got to win a respawn somewhere, and given OpTic's respawns have been looking certainly shaky as of late, and Subliners hardpoint has looked great so far with this new team. I'm pretty sure they haven't lost a hardpoint yet with this new squad, with, of course, Hydra now in the team, means that, alright, if you can't win a hardpoint and your controller's been super shaky, OpTic has, I think Ben was even saying on the flank, they've, you know, almost lost like 7 in a row or something kind of crazy like that. They obviously do find themselves in a pretty tough spot right now. But intrigued to take your thoughts in the comment section below. What do OpTic need to do to get back to a form that, of course, we're expecting out of this team? And they're certainly going to need to find that form this coming week if they want to make it to the winners bracket for the major. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. And I'll grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.